It must have just happened a few minutes before, and smoke was rising from the front of the car where it had crashed into the wall. The car was in terrible condition. The person who was driving must have been going very fast because, when it hit the wall, it crumpled up like a crushed tin can. I heard a voice, and through the smoke, I could make out a woman's face, squashed between the shattered windshield and the steering wheel. She had some minor cuts and bruises, but other than that, she looked uninjured. I ran over to her and asked if she was okay. She opened her eyes and just kept moaning softly, "Ow, ow, it hurts so much. Help." I was relieved to see that she was conscious at least. Just then, the police arrived and, telling them to call Mansformum, Première went to work. Later that day, during my lunch break, I told one of my colleagues about the accident. She turned on the TV to see if there was anything on the news. The reporter was saying, "Today, there was a fatal accident in the city center when a speeding car went out of control and crashed into a brick wall. The woman who was driving the car was decapitated and killed on impact. The Easter bunny, a little girl, stood in the doorway to her mother's room and rubbed her eyes. 'Mom,' she said, 'the Easter bunny is in my bedroom and he's eating candy.' 'Don't be silly,' her mother replied. 'The Easter bunny gives candy to children. He doesn't eat candy. Go back to sleep.' 'I can't go to sleep,' the girl said. 'The Easter bunny is eating candy.' She sounded as if she was about to cry. Her mother sat up in bed and said, 'Just go back to sleep, please. It's not even Easter yet.' The child sighed. 'Okay, Mom,' she said as she turned and walked away. When the little girl got back to her bedroom, she found the Easter bunny sitting on her bed, still eating candy. 'Mommy just said I should go back to bed,' she said as she fingered a shiny metal dog collar that read, 'Candy.' The refrigerator one night, while I was staying at a friend's house, I had a terrible dream in which I was confined in small, narrow place. I was in complete darkness and couldn't see a thing. The space was so cramped that I couldn't even move my arms and legs. The strangest thing was that I was aware I was in a dream. I kept pinching myself and hoping that I would wake up. It seemed like the oxygen was slowly being used up, and I was gasping for air. I began to panic and started screaming and hitting the walls with my shoulders. Just when I felt I was on the verge of death, I awoke in a cold sweat. Trying to calm myself down, I got out of bed and went to the bathroom. As I was walking down the hallway, I noticed a strange noise coming from the kitchen. The sound was very faint, but it seemed to be coming from the refrigerator. It was very muffled, but it sounded like someone was crying out for help. I switched on the kitchen light and was horrified to find the refrigerator rattling and shaking. I stood there in shock, staring at the refrigerator, and a few moments later, the sounds finally ceased. I was too frightened to open the refrigerator, and instead, I went back to bed. The next morning, when I was talking to my friend, I told him what had happened. He gave me a strange look and said that other people who had stayed in that room had experienced the same thing. Even now, there are times when I wonder what I would have found that night if I had been brave enough to open the refrigerator. Save the animals years ago. There was a certain website on the internet that was requesting donations to help poor animals that were hurt or injured. There were terrible images of the injuries each animal had sustained. In one picture, a dog had one of its legs mangled by a lawn mower. In another, a cat's eye had popped out and was hanging on by a thread. In yet another photo, there was a rabbit who had been run over by a car. Its internal organs were hanging out. It was heartbreaking. The website received a lot of donations from pet lovers, and the owner gave regular updates on how the animals were doing, detailing their recovery step by step. They also posted images showing each of the animals fully recovered and looking happy and healthy. I even donated some money myself to make sure the other sick animals got the surgery they needed. However, one day I became suspicious and took a closer look at the photos. When I checked the date and time each image had been created, I was horrified. The picture in which each animal was completely cured had been created prior to the picture in which they were lying in an injured state. I immediately contacted the police, and the owner of the website was arrested. I'm sorry, Mommy. One night, a woman was sitting in the kitchen reading the newspaper. When she looked up, she saw her 6-year-old son coming down the stairs, dressed in his pajamas. "Something wrong, dear?" she asked. "I had a nightmare," the boy replied. "Well, you're safe now," said the mother. "I dreamed I was in bed, and I heard a sound in Daddy's bedroom," he said. "When I looked in the door, I saw these big black things with white eyes. They came out of the closet, and they attacked Daddy." "Don't worry," said the mother in a soothing voice. She hugged her son close. That was just a dream. It didn't really happen. The boy continued. "They ripped him up into pieces, and then they ate all the pieces, and when they were done, they licked up all the blood off the floor. I thought if I ran away fast they wouldn't catch me, but they did, and they were going to eat me too, but then they stopped and they said they wouldn't eat me if I promised to." "What?" asked the mother. "Promise to." "Come on, you can tell me anything." "Promise to what?" "Promise to distract you while they creeped up behind you." "I'm sorry, Mummy." The woman heard a floorboard creak behind her, and the hair on the back of her neck stood on end.